how to bring your relationships to deeper connections, bigger intensity, and more fulfillment. This is the video that I've been announcing for a few days now. We're going to dive right into it. So I'm going to talk about 4 main topics that I had announced. And those are, first of all, how to deepen your connection with your partner. Secondly, how to bring the succulence back into your relationship. Third, I'm going to give you one simple body practice that you can do no matter where you are. And fourth, I'm going to talk about variety and how you can bring that back or bring more variety in your relationship. Before I do this, I'm going to share for 1 minute why it all matters. It's not just for the quality of your intimate life. Of course, that's important. And of course, you want to bring your best to your partner and to your lover. But when you start to do all the things that I'm going to talk about, it's going to become obvious eventually, but I'm also going to announce it now. You're going to be a different person when you're out and about, networking, socializing, going for a job interview, going for a presentation or a public speech, giving televised interview and so on. The way you show up in your intimacy can potentially make you better at showing up in other types of interactions. You're going to be able to better attract more opportunities towards yourself. When you grow in your personal life, intimate life, you grow in all areas of your life, in your personal power, basically. So we're going to talk about now, number 1, how to deepen the connection with your partner. I'm going to look at it on 4 levels: physical, emotional, intellectual, and soulful. It's my choice. Take from it whatever resonates with you, leave out the rest. On a physical level, well, no need to say here that your intimate life can be much deeper and much more intense through the physical expression, obviously. And for that, the only thing that you would want to consider here is actually 2 things. Know yourself. So have this curiosity to explore with yourself. Have a sense of what works, what doesn't work for you, what textures, what touches, what toys, what tools, how much time, what kind of physical intensity, as in pressure, speed, sensations, textures, in case I didn't mention this one before. So this type of curiosity can, as crazy as it may seem to somebody who's used to just expressing with somebody else and not with themselves, it has the big reward that you present yourself more knowledgeable, and therefore you don't have to spend time exploring, but you can go to more advanced levels. That would be the biggest benefit. Secondly, if you have this propensity to look at yourself, guess what you're going to do? You're going to have the muscles, like attention, skill, focus, so on, the muscles, to do that with your partner. You know, sort of be like a sexual detective. Sexual detective, yes. To map the terrain, the naked terrain, without jumping them. The second you see them naked, you jump them. No. You have the time, the detective skills to find out about them. What kind of touch from you do they like? With what kind of intensity from you? What kind of texture that you apply on them do they like? Where are their soft spots? You know, map the terrain. Sniff it out like a detective would do it. Yes, that's the biggest takeaway that I would encourage you to have when it comes to your physical connections and physical intimacy and going deeper on an intimate level. So don't jump your partner the first time you see them naked. Take it slowly. What does that mean? It means that you have to contain yourself and contain your excitement. It's not easy. Not everybody can do that. Secondly, on an emotional level, you can grow a much deeper connection with your partner when you learn to feel into them and when you get into the habit of feeling into them. Now, what I mean by this is that you, sense their states. Sense what turns them on, what excites them. You can spot their states just by observing them or by being in the same space with them. Or sometimes by allowing yourself the time and allowing yourself their absence in order to settle some things, process some things inside yourself. Emotions sometimes need more time to be processed. So if you want to go deeper with your partner, first of all, yes, you would have to connect with yourself emotionally and make sure that you're in check, that you're sort of clean, let's say, and that you have emotional space for them too. Because if it's all about you and your emotion, your states, the stuff that worry you, there is no room for somebody else to connect with you emotionally. And this part matters because the erotic is the realm of emotions, fantasies, expectations, values, beliefs, desires, aspirations, the meaning that you give. Yes, it's from the erotic, and it's purely related to your emotions. The highest in intensity is the emotional connection. That's an erotic connection. When you have an emotional stake there, when you can reach emotional peaks in the physical encounter, that's when everything goes to the 10th level from where you are right now. Up. 10th level up. The emotional stake. And that doesn't come overnight. Also, in order to reach that kind of an emotional intensity, you need space, and they need space also. Space, not just within yourself, so that they can access you, and space within your partner so that you can access them, but also space one from the other. It's part of the emotional nurturing of the relationship. That's how connections get deeper. And with this, I'm going to tell you, this is a erotic Jedi training. Yes, it's not anybody that can do that. Okay? You need to think in terms of performance, containing yourself, being with yourself, being with emotions. That's the only way you transcend to higher levels. That's why it's an erotic Jedi training. On a mental and intellectual plane now, in terms of going deeper with your partner, on a mental and intellectual plane, it means that you have an understanding of their mindset, definitions, beliefs, values, anything else that they use, criteria to relate to others, the sense of direction in their life. So, and it also means that you understand that about yourself. Because if you don't understand that about yourself, how can you understand it with somebody else? Basically. And as with the other plane, the emotional one, with the intellectual plane, there is an indication here. Not necessarily to give space to somebody else, but to basically avoid manipulating them, avoid trying to change them or trying to steer them into the direction that you want them to go or you feel that it's best for them. In essence, that's what manipulation is. And an intellectual, intimate connection is not about manipulation. It's about seeing where the other person is at and connecting with them there, basically. Now, on a soulful level, this one again, we're going to go with the Jedi training. On a soulful level, first of all, it's purely intuitive. So essentially, everybody is on an evolutionary path. Everybody. The thing here is that in order to have a sense of where you're evolving, you need to connect with yourself. You need to be with yourself. And that means time for prayer, inner contemplation, meditation, thinking, any kind of process like this, but where you're connecting to yourself on a much, much deeper level. The level of what would make me fulfilled as a human being, as a soul. That kind of a level. The erotic realm is very close to that. Orgasm is one type of enlightenment, for the simple fact that there is no I there. You abandon yourself to a higher state, to a blissful, ecstatic state, and you're merging with the other person, with everything else around you. So yes, the orgasm is, I don't know, on a seconds level is what enlightenment could be for an eternity. And this is where sacred sexuality practices come in and help. But before all that, you have to, like, the foundation here is that you connect with yourself on a soulful level, basically. And you have the habit of checking in with yourself. How am I on a soulful level? Am I happy? Am I really fulfilled here? Am I really walking the most important path in my life? Yeah, that's not an easy one, but it's important. So again, this is Jedi training. That's what we're talking about here. You know, if you want to really bring your relationships to the next level, you gotta think like Jedis. Or I'm inviting you to think like a Jedi. Okay, the second topic on the list is how you bring succulence back into the relationship. And this is valid especially for people who are in long-term relationships. But it is good to know for anybody who's just starting out or not even dating right now. First of all, our passions, the things that light us up, those are the things that make us alive. That kind of energy needs to be within us. It just needs to be. If we don't have that, let me tell you right here and now, we are dead. If we don't have nothing that makes us passionate, enthusiastic, come alive, ignite, be for even just a second larger than life, then we are not alive, we're dead. And the invitation here is that we look at what makes me feel alive. And how do I do more of that? Even if more of that means once a month as opposed to never. Or even if it means once a week as opposed to 2 times in my life so far. Okay? What makes me come alive? What am I enthusiastic about? Do you know what that is? Arousal. That's turn on. That right there is turn on in the purest form. When you have that, and when you can translate some of that into your intimate life, bring in that energy, that emotion, that vibe, that mood, that's how you bring your intimate relationship to life also, because of how you show up, because of the things that you're doing, things that you're embodying and expressing. Emotion, you know, the realm of the erotic. Your passions from other areas of life, if you can translate them in a way that is fitting for your intimate life, because if you're passionate about accountancy, I really can't imagine how talking about profit and loss can really turn on your partner in intimacy. So I'm talking about bringing in the passion itself for that. I'm talking about bringing your higher state, internal mood, and bringing that into your intimate life. That's what I mean by translating it. And secondly, vice versa. If your partner has a passion, what kind of passion? Let me see. If your partner does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and you have actually no clue what the F is that, it's a mixed martial art, by the way. Okay, but you don't even have a clue what that is. You can't, like, you don't understand it, or you just feel that what kind of a primitive thing is that, then let me tell you right here and there, you're not understanding your partner. Basically, if that kind of, like, if they do karate or aikido, or I don't know, they're pugilist, boxer, okay, if they do that, and okay, you don't have to do that. If your partner does that, fine. But if you don't understand their passion and support it, and if it doesn't make sense, if you don't respect it, then how much of your partner are you connecting to? If that's the thing that brings them alive, makes them passionate and enthusiastic, and you're missing out on that chunk of them, of their internal world, then exactly to how much of them are you connecting? It's important that each person in their relationship has a passion, something just of their own, and they take the energy from there and also bring it in their intimate life. That's how you bring your succulence to a very Jedi training way. That's it. In terms of physicality, because we want to go there also, it's with sexual workouts. If you feel that the spark is gone, then you can only work on yourself. And how do you do that? You do sexual workouts. And I have that for women. Guys, I'm sure that there are communities for men. I'll try to... Sacred Sons, I think, was one. Any type of masculinity practice or femininity practice or sexuality practice adapted to the bodies is going to bring you succulence, and therefore you're going to bring it into the relationship. Pure and simple. It's either through the state or through the physicality of it. That's how we work. Okay, now number 3, a somatic practice or a bodywork practice that I want to leave you everybody with in terms of bringing some succulence, not overwhelming, but a little bit of succulence into your life, because that is the foundation. A little bit now, a little bit more tomorrow, or a little bit more next hour. That's how you build yourself up for intensity in the long run. So it's very simple. It's breath combined with pelvic floor training. The simplest form is you inhale and you squeeze your pelvic floor. You hold it for a few seconds. Then you exhale and you release the pelvic floor muscle. Okay, I'm inviting you right now to try it out with me. That's the basic of the basics. So inhale and squeeze and hold for a few more seconds, and then release. Okay, we're going to do it one more time. Squeeze and release. I don't know about you, but I'm already feeling turn on. Yep. I'm already turned on just by doing this practice, because I've been doing so many of the workouts, the sexual workouts, that my body responds much faster. I'm not into orgasm or anything, but I'm already turned on with this. And that's what you get when you start using something like that in the long run. And this is the basic of the basics. You could have thought about that one, but I'm asking you, are you actually doing it? I know you know it, but do you do it repeatedly? If not, you can know a lot of things. If you don't apply them, they're useless to you. Okay, And the fourth topic, it's variety. So how do you bring more variety in your relationship? First of all, I'm going to go with the Jedi training one more time. And I'm going to look at attitude, self-esteem, and the power to be inspired by others. Your power to be inspired by others. Jedi training. We're only talking about yourself, not about others. So the variety, before any type of physical features, objects, people, and so on, we're talking about attitude. That's what lies behind anything that's different. Attitude, energy, approach, way of being, way of embodying things. So here we're talking about, before you come up with a new technique, a new line, a new whatever act that you want to put on, show, or anything, you got to have the attitude. Attitude comes before anything else. And what is attitude? It's your confidence to be different from what you used to be and show up differently and not feel like an idiot, fool, awkward, or lame, or whatever. That's what the attitude is. And that's why I said also about the power, your power, to be inspired by others. Why is it a power? Because to feel threatened by others is a sign of weakness. To be inspired by others, no matter if they're better or worse than you, but the power to be inspired by others is a power. That means you are so well within yourself that when you see somebody who's more attractive or more skilled or more experienced or anything like that, you're not threatened by them, you are inspired by them. That means a lot of respect, self-esteem. That means you're rooting for yourself and you're on your own team and you're seeing something outside and you're saying, okay, I can do this. I want to do this also. Secondly, it's also important here, especially with attitude, to not copy paste, but to adapt. I'll give you a life example. Whenever you're seeing movies, let's say, and they are dubbed, well, the person that is dubbing them, so speaking over them in a different language, they're not just translating word by word what is being said in one language. They're also adapting to the way it's usually said in the other language. So when you allow yourself to be inspired, you don't just copy paste something that you see in somebody, like an attitude or a gesture or a tone or a joke or anything. You don't just copy paste it. You take it in, let it sit in with yourself for a bit, and you find ways to adapt it and to embody that in your own way. Because copy pasting is not, it's not sustainable. It's not, your partner is going to feel if you're not authentic. And you're not going to like it either. It's going to feel awkward because it's not of you. You know, your entire system, your entire being is not going to recognize it. So when it comes to inspiration and bringing in variety, patience, my Jedi training, my young Padawan, patience. Yep, that's what it is. You gotta allow the time for your entire self to transform that and adapt it and express it in your unique way. That is the true power, that variety is going to be sustainable in the long run. Trust me, that's not something that is easily done out there. It isn't. I'm working on various things and I've been working on them for 4 years now. And I still have room for growth, a lot of it. It's a slow process. So that's why I'm talking about long-term relationships here. That's bringing back or bringing in variety is one of the most challenging things to do in a relationship. If you want to go with the physical variety, because maybe sometimes people don't understand, they don't understand these subtle or fine things, then there are some caveats here. No matter if you go for swing, or if you go for polyamory, or if you go for, just being a bachelor or a bachelorette and having, swapping partners or changing partners the way you change socks, there are some risks here. And the first one is that you have a lot of fears, and you are easily threatened if you're not really stable within yourself. And especially when you're opening up your relationship, the jealousy, competition, fear of abandonment, those are huge components that need to be looked at. And I would encourage anyone who's considering to open up their relationship, before doing anything like that, to seek an external advice, because you need to really make sure that you're equipped for something like that. It's not easy. It's not really for everybody. It may sound easy for others, but there's so much emotional stuff that is stirred up. And if the relationship isn't strong enough, or one of the partners isn't strong enough, something can break there. Yeah, bringing in more people, it really brings in more complexity, more challenges, and you need to make sure that you're strong enough for them. Also, within the relationship, there's, the relationship is going to change the more people you're going to bring in. Sometimes you might have less time with one another. So that means, the relationship will have to feed itself in a different way from before. The partners will have to feed themselves emotionally, physically, and so on in a different way. That's, again, not easy. So if you want to go for variety in terms of other people, make sure that it's really down your alley. Make sure that you're really equipped or prepared for it or strong enough for it. Variety is never easy, okay? Whether you go for the attitude and allowing yourself to be inspired as opposed to threatened by external muses, it's also complicated. Handling or managing more people in a relationship, it's also complicated. So variety is never easy. But if you learn to play this muscle, wow. Yes. So yeah, as I said in the beginning, these things that allow you to grow, they also make you a better person in so many other areas in your life. So what are they? Again, deepening the connection with your partner. And we spoke about physical level, emotional level, intellectual level, and soulful level. Then we spoke about bringing in the succulence into your relationship. And we mentioned here the importance of passions and hobbies and translating all of that, translating and adapting into your intimate interaction. Then we spoke about a body practice, the basic of the basics of body practices. Inhale, squeeze, hold, exhale, and release. Basic. I invite you to do that. It's not enough that you know these practices, it's mandatory that you do them in order for them to work. Otherwise, they don't do anything just by knowing them. In the fourth one, we spoke about variety. First of all, in terms of attitude, so the Jedi training, attitude, internal strength, the power to allow yourself to be inspired by others, and how you bring in and adapt the stuff that you see in others. And also variety in terms of people, other tools, and other external material things. So those were the things that we spoke about. And if you manage to grow in all these areas and put in the time and the attention and the discipline, yes, you're going to find yourself being different when you show up also for work, for networking, for social interactions, for promoting yourself and putting yourself out there, for negotiating or discussing with partners, with collaborators. So all of those things, yes. Intimacy is not just the whim of your bedroom, the quality of your bedroom life. It's also for the stuff that happens outside and how you are outside of your intimate relationship. That's the biggest gift that a relationship has to offer us. So I hope that these have helped you. I'm really curious, not just what you thought of the video. I'm really curious, what were the things that were important to you? The things that you resonated with, because I'm going to remind you that I invited you in the beginning to take what resonates with you and leave out the rest. Comment below and let me know what resonated with you. I would really, really love to know. And that being said, I wish you a great upcoming week, and I'll see you in the next video and obviously in the next posts. Ciao.